When work starts taking more than it gives, there comes a point where work does not just make you tired, it makes you quiet. Not loud pain, not dramatic collapse, just a slow silence inside you. You still wake up, you still answer emails, you still join meetings, you still say, "I'm good." When someone asks how you are, you still smile at the right moments, you still do what is expected. But something feels different. You get home and sit in your car for a few minutes before going inside, because part of you needs time to become human again. You open the front door, but your mind is still at the office. You sit down, take out your phone, and scroll. Not because you are enjoying it, but because you do not have the energy to choose anything better. Sunday night feels heavy. Monday morning feels numb. Coffee no longer feels like a ritual. It feels like fuel for another day of pretending you are fine. And the hardest part is that from the outside, your life may look normal. You have a job, you have responsibilities, you may even have a decent salary, a respectable title, a stable routine. People may think you are doing well. But inside, you feel like work is taking more from you than it is giving back. It is taking your energy. It is taking your patience. It is taking your imagination. It is taking the version of you that used to be excited about the future. If this sounds familiar, this audiobook is for you. Welcome to Inner Power Audio. If this already feels close to what you have been living, leave one word in the comments: drained. Not because you are weak, not because you are broken, but because naming where you are is the first step toward rebuilding what has been buried. This is not an audiobook about quitting your job tomorrow. It is not here to tell you that every problem can be fixed with a morning routine, a motivational quote, or a new planner. It is not here to shame you into productivity. You have probably tried that already. You have probably told yourself to push harder, wake up earlier, stop complaining, be grateful, be disciplined, and get it done. But when work has drained your soul, pressure is not enough. You need restoration. You need clarity. You need to understand what has been taken from you and how to take it back piece by piece. Because your drive is not gone. It is covered. It is buried under constant pressure, invisible expectations, long meetings, late replies, repeated disappointments, emotional exhaustion, and the quiet pain of living on autopilot. Somewhere inside you, there is still a version of you that wants to move, grow, create, learn, build, improve, and feel alive again. That version is not dead. It is waiting for oxygen. In this audiobook, we are going to rebuild that oxygen. We will begin by understanding what work has been taking from you. Then we will stop confusing burnout with laziness. We will take back your mind before the workday begins. We will remember who you are without your job title. We will learn how to recover after work instead of simply numbing yourself. Then we will go deeper. We will turn this job into training, not a prison. We will protect your focus from the noise that weakens you. We will rebuild confidence through promises you can keep. We will create a life that work can steal. And finally, we will build a new standard, a version of you that work can challenge, but no longer break. This will not be loud motivation. This will be quieter than that, stronger than that. Because real drive is not always a burst of emotion. Sometimes drive is a quiet decision made when you are tired. Sometimes it is choosing not to abandon yourself after another long day. Sometimes it is standing in the middle of an ordinary week and saying, "I am not going to let this season erase me." So before we begin, ask yourself one question. What has work been taking from you lately? Your energy, your health, your confidence, your evenings, your patience with the people you love, your sense of possibility? Or has it been taking the part of you that still believes life can feel alive? Hold that question. Because you cannot rebuild your drive by ignoring what drained it. You rebuild by seeing clearly. You rebuild by choosing differently. You rebuild by taking back one part of yourself at a time. You are not broken. You are drained, and drained people can be restored. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Understand what work has been taking from you. Before you try to become motivated again, you need to understand what happened to your motivation in the first place. Most people skip this step. They feel tired, so they blame themselves. They lose focus, so they call themselves undisciplined. They stop feeling excited about work, so they assume something is wrong with their ambition. But motivation does not disappear for no reason. It is usually drained slowly, quietly, repeatedly. It does not vanish in one dramatic moment. It leaks. A little bit goes every time you wake up already tense. A little bit goes every time you open your inbox and feel your chest tighten. A little bit goes every time you sit through a meeting that could have been an email. A little bit goes every time you complete work that takes your energy but gives you no sense of progress. A little bit goes every time you stay polite when you are frustrated, available when you are exhausted, and productive when you are running on fumes. Then one day you look at yourself and wonder, why do I not care anymore? But maybe you do care. Maybe you care so much that being trapped in a loop that feels meaningless has exhausted you. There is a difference between being tired from effort and being tired from emptiness. Effort can make you tired, but it can also make you proud. You can finish a hard workout and feel alive. You can complete a difficult project and feel satisfied. You can help someone, build something, learn something, solve something, and feel exhausted but fulfilled. That kind of tired has meaning inside it. But office exhaustion often feels different. It comes from fragmentation. A message here, a meeting there, a deadline, a correction, a request, a notification, a calendar invite, a small crisis, a polite conversation when you would rather be silent. A task you finally finish only to receive 3 more. By the end of the day, your body may not have done anything physically extreme, but your mind has been pulled in 20 directions. That is why so many office workers feel confused by their own exhaustion. They think, I sat at a desk all day. Why am I this tired? Because sitting still does not mean your nervous system was resting. Being professional all day costs energy. Filtering your emotions costs energy. Pretending you are not frustrated costs energy. Switching tasks every few minutes costs energy. Living under constant low-grade pressure costs energy. And when that pressure continues for months or years, it does not only drain your body, it drains your relationship with yourself. You stop trusting your own energy. You stop believing your own plans. You stop making promises after work because you know you will probably be too tired to keep them. You stop imagining big changes because you barely have enough fuel for today. You stop seeing the future as something you are building and start seeing it as another version of the same week. That is when work begins taking more than time. It takes emotional range. It takes imagination. It takes the feeling that your life belongs to you. So the first step is not to push harder. The first step is to identify the drain. Ask yourself, what exactly is taking the most from me? Is it the workload, the people, the routine, the pressure to always be available, the lack of recognition, the fear of falling behind, the feeling that your best hours go to work and your worst hours go to your own life? Be honest. Different drains require different repairs. If your drain is workload, you may need boundaries and better systems. If your drain is people, you may need emotional distance and clearer limits. If your drain is lack of meaning, you may need a stronger reason for this season. If your drain is routine, you may need novelty and personal growth outside work. If your drain is fear, you may need to rebuild confidence through evidence. Do not treat all exhaustion the same. A person who is tired from too many tasks does not need the same solution as a person who is tired from feeling invisible. A person who is overwhelmed by notifications does not need the same solution as a person who has attached their entire identity to a job title. This is why generic motivation often fails. It tells everyone to work harder, but it does not ask what kind of tired they are carrying. So here is your first practice. Take a notebook or open a blank note and write this sentence. Work has been taking my, then finish it 3 times. Work has been taking my peace. Work has been taking my evenings. Work has been taking my confidence. Work has been taking my patience with the people I love. Work has been taking my ability to enjoy small things. Do not edit it. Do not make it sound mature. Do not make it sound positive. Tell the truth. And if you want to make it real, write one answer in the comments. What has work been taking from you lately? Not for attention, for awareness. Because what you cannot name, you cannot reclaim. This chapter is not about blaming work for everything. There are seasons where work is necessary. There are bills to pay, responsibilities to carry, families to support, careers to build, and goals that require endurance. But endurance without awareness becomes self-abandonment. You can work hard without letting work consume you. You can be responsible without becoming empty. You can show up professionally without disappearing personally. But only if you stop pretending the drain is normal. It may be common, but that does not make it harmless. So start here. Notice what has been leaving you. Notice what has been shrinking inside you. Notice what you miss about yourself. Because your drive is not rebuilt by force. It is rebuilt by returning energy to the places where work has been taking it. You cannot rebuild your drive until you know what has been draining it. And once you know what has been draining it, the next step is to stop blaming yourself for the damage. Chapter 2. Stop mistaking burnout for laziness. One of the cruelest things exhausted people do is accuse themselves of being lazy. They wake up tired and say, "What is wrong with me?" They struggle to focus and say, "I have no discipline." They avoid another task and say, "I am just not strong enough." They come home with no energy to cook, exercise, read, study, or work on their goals, and they turn that exhaustion into a character judgment. But burnout is not laziness. Laziness is avoiding effort when you have the capacity to act. Burnout is wanting to act and feeling like something inside you cannot move. There is a difference. A lazy person usually wants comfort without responsibility. A burned-out person often carries too much responsibility for too long without enough recovery, meaning support or control. They are not avoiding life because they do not care. They are avoiding more pressure because their system is already overloaded. This matters because the wrong diagnosis creates the wrong solution. If you call burnout laziness, you will try to fix it with shame. You will insult yourself. You will push harder. You will compare yourself to people online who seem to wake up at 5, work 10 hours, go to the gym, run a business, read every night, and still smile like they have never once stared at the ceiling, wondering how they are going to do it all again tomorrow. But shame does not restore energy. It burns what little energy remains. You do not heal by attacking yourself. You heal by telling the truth. And the truth may be this. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. You may have been living for months with no real transition between work and rest. You may have been sleeping but not recovering. You may have been taking days off, but spending them anxious about the work waiting for you. You may have been physically away from your desk, but mentally still inside your inbox. That is not rest. That is work wearing a different mask. Burnout often begins when demand stays high and recovery stays low. At first you compensate, you drink more coffee, you stay later, you answer messages faster, you push through, you tell yourself it is just a busy season. Then the busy season becomes your normal life. You adjust to being drained. You start calling exhaustion maturity. You start calling numbness professionalism. You start calling survival discipline. But your body keeps telling the truth. Your focus gets weaker. Your patience gets shorter. Your sleep gets lighter. Your joy gets quieter. Small tasks feel bigger. Simple decisions feel heavier. Things you used to do easily now require negotiation with yourself. That is not because you suddenly became a worse person. It is because your inner fuel has been running too low for too long. If you have ever called yourself lazy when you were actually exhausted, say this quietly. I needed this. And if you want, write that in the comments. I needed this. Because many people watching this think they are alone in that feeling. They are not. Now, this does not mean you should remove responsibility from your life. It does not mean every tired feeling is burnout. It does not mean you never need discipline. You do. But discipline works best when it is built on truth, not self-hatred. A burned-out person does not need to be crushed into action. They need to rebuild capacity. Capacity means your ability to carry effort without collapsing. You rebuild capacity in layers. First, you stop lying about your condition. Second, you reduce unnecessary drains. Third, you create recovery that actually restores you. Fourth, you rebuild trust with small actions. Fifth, you reconnect your work to a reason that matters. That is different from saying, just work harder. You have probably worked hard enough to earn the right to be honest. So ask yourself, when did your motivation start disappearing? Was it after a specific project, after a difficult manager, after years of feeling unseen, after working through personal stress without giving yourself space to process it, after turning your home into an office and never fully leaving work, after carrying responsibilities no one else noticed? Find the beginning if you can, not to live in the past, to understand the pattern. Sometimes burnout begins after a season where you betrayed your own limits too many times. You said yes when you needed to say no. You stayed available when you needed recovery. You accepted urgency that was not yours. You absorbed pressure that belonged to a broken system. Then, when your body finally resisted, you called yourself lazy. Do not do that anymore. From this point forward, change the language. Do not say, "I am lazy." Say, "I am depleted and I am rebuilding." Do not say, "I have no discipline." Say, "My capacity is low and I will restore it through small, consistent actions." Do not say, "I am falling behind everyone." Say, "I am returning to myself at a pace I can sustain." Language matters because the way you speak to yourself becomes the environment your mind has to live in. If your inner voice is a manager who only criticizes, your soul will not feel safe enough to recover. But if your inner voice becomes honest, firm, and calm, something begins to shift. You stop wasting energy fighting yourself. You stop turning every tired day into proof that you are failing. You start treating exhaustion as information, and information gives you power. Here is the practice for this chapter. For the next 7 days, catch the phrase, "I'm lazy," whenever it appears in your mind. Replace it with this: "I am overloaded and I am rebuilding one step at a time." Say it without drama. Say it without excuse. Say it like a fact. Because it is not soft to tell the truth. It is strong. You can still hold yourself to standards. You can still show up. You can still improve. But you do not have to whip yourself into motion with shame. You are not a machine that performs better when beaten. You are a human being who performs better when restored, directed, and respected. Burnout is not a moral failure, it is a signal. And when you stop misreading the signal, you can finally respond correctly. You do not heal by attacking yourself. You heal by rebuilding capacity. And the first place to rebuild capacity is the first place work often steals from you, the beginning of your day. Chapter 3. Take back your mind before the workday begins. The first battle of the workday often happens before work even starts. It happens in the first few minutes after you wake up. Before your feet touch the floor, the world is already reaching for your mind. Your phone lights up. Notifications wait. Emails arrive. Messages stack. News headlines compete for your attention. Your calendar reminds you what is coming. Your mind jumps into the day before your body has even had a chance to breathe. And without noticing, you begin the day in reaction. Not intention, reaction. That one difference can shape everything. When you start your morning by checking work messages, you are handing your nervous system to the office before you have even belonged to yourself. You are letting someone else's urgency become your first emotion. You are letting a task, a problem, a request, or a tone inside an email decide the mood of your morning. Then you wonder why the whole day feels like it owns you. The goal is not to become a perfect morning person. This is not about waking up at 4:30 a.m., taking ice baths, journaling for an hour, and becoming a productivity statue before sunrise. That may work for some people. But for a drained office worker, the first goal is simpler. Create a small space before the world enters. That is it. A small space where your mind is yours. A small space where you are not an employee yet. A small space where you remember that you are a person before you are a role. Because the way you enter the day teaches your mind who is in charge. If your first action is checking email, your mind learns. Work leads. If your first action is scrolling, your mind learns. Distraction leads. If your first action is panic, your mind learns. Fear leads. But if your first action is deliberate, even for 10 minutes, your mind learns. I lead. That is how you begin to take back control. Tomorrow morning, try this. For the first 20 minutes, do not check work messages. Not because the messages are not important, because your mind is important too. Get out of bed, drink water, let light hit your eyes. Move your body for 2 minutes. Stretch, walk around the room, stand near a window. Breathe slowly. Then ask yourself one sentence. What do I need to protect today? Not what do I need to finish, not who needs something from me, not what problem might happen. What do I need to protect today? Maybe the answer is your focus. Maybe it is your patience. Maybe it is your lunch break. Maybe it is your confidence during a difficult meeting. Maybe it is your evening. Maybe it is the promise that work does not get to take your entire day. Write one line, "Today I will protect my energy by," then finish it. "Today I will protect my energy by not checking email during lunch. Today I will protect my energy by doing one task at a time. Today I will protect my energy by not carrying one rude comment in my mind all afternoon. Today I will protect my energy by leaving work when the day is done." This is not a small thing. It is identity training. You are teaching yourself that you have agency before pressure appears. Most people wait until the workday attacks them, then try to find calm in the middle of the attack. But calm is easier to protect than to recover. Focus is easier to guard than to rebuild after it has been shattered. Take your mind back early, before the inbox owns it, before the meetings shape it, before the office noise fills it. If tomorrow morning you do this, come back and write, "I took my morning back." Not as a performance, as evidence. One morning will not change your whole life. But one morning can interrupt the pattern. And when you interrupt the pattern, you remind yourself that the day is not just something that happens to you. You participate in its direction. Now there will be resistance. Your mind may say, "I do not have time." But you had time to check your phone. You had time to worry. You had time to rehearse conversations that have not happened. You had time to give your first attention to everything except yourself. This is not about having extra time. It is about reclaiming first attention. Your first attention is powerful because it sets the tone. It tells your brain what matters. It creates the emotional doorway through which the rest of the day enters. If that doorway is chaos, the day enters as chaos. If that doorway is intention, the day enters differently. You may still have pressure. You may still have meetings. You may still face difficult people, but you will not enter the day already defeated. That matters. There is a quiet dignity in beginning the day on your own terms. Even if the rest of the day is demanding, those first minutes remind you, "I am still here. I still have a center. I still have a choice." And for someone who feels drained by work, that reminder is medicine. Do not underestimate simple rituals. A glass of water can become a boundary. A short walk can become a declaration. A sentence in a notebook can become a compass. A quiet morning can become the first place your drive returns. Because drive does not always come from excitement. Sometimes it comes from order. Sometimes it comes from clarity. Sometimes it comes from keeping one small part of the day untouched by other people's demands. So protect the beginning. Not perfectly, consistently. Before the world tells you who to be, give yourself a chance to remember. Win the first minutes, and work no longer owns the whole day. And once you take back the beginning of the day, the next step is deeper. Take back the identity that work has been slowly wrapping around you. Chapter 4. Remember who you are without your job title. One of the most dangerous things about modern work is that it can slowly become your identity. At first, it is just a job. Then it becomes your schedule. Then it becomes your stress. Then it becomes your self-worth. A good day at work makes you feel valuable. A bad day makes you question yourself. A compliment makes you feel secure. A criticism follows you home. A promotion feels like proof that you matter. A mistake feels like proof that you are not enough. This is how work becomes more than work. It becomes a mirror. And if you are not careful, you begin to believe that the mirror is telling the whole truth. But your job title is not your identity. Your inbox is not your worth. Your productivity is not your humanity. Your salary is not your soul. Your performance review is not the full measurement of your life. You may know this logically, but emotionally, it can be hard to live. Especially in a culture where one of the first questions people ask is, "What do you do?" Not, "What brings you peace?" Not, "What kind of person are you becoming?" Not, "What do you love when no one is watching?" Just, "What do you do?" So you learn to answer with a role. I am a manager, I am an analyst, I am a designer, I am in sales, I am in operations, I am in finance, I am in tech. And over time, the role begins to tighten around you. You start measuring your inner value through external output. You feel guilty when you are not productive. You feel anxious when you rest. You feel behind when someone else seems more successful. You feel embarrassed if your job is not impressive enough. You feel trapped if your job is stable but not fulfilling. That is not ambition. That is identity capture. Work has taken too much when you cannot describe yourself without mentioning what you do for money. So let us practice something different. Right now, ask yourself, who am I when I am not performing? Who am I when I am not being useful? Who am I when no one needs anything from me? Who am I without the title, the tasks, the metrics, the meetings, the deadlines, and the expectations? This is not an easy question for someone who has been rewarded for output their whole life. You may feel blank at first. That blankness is not failure. It is a sign that this part of you needs attention. If you want to make this real, write one thing about yourself in the comments that has nothing to do with your job. Maybe you are patient. Maybe you are creative. Maybe you are a loyal friend. Maybe you are someone who notices small beauty. Maybe you love music, cooking, running, reading, faith, nature, family, silence, humor, or learning. Maybe you are someone who has survived more than people know. Write that. Remember that. Because the part of you that exists outside work is not a luxury. It is your anchor. When your identity is too attached to work, every work problem becomes personal. A delayed promotion feels like rejection. A manager's tone feels like judgment. A failed project feels like shame. A busy week feels like proof that your life is out of control. But when you remember you are larger than your role, work problems become work problems again. Still important, still worth handling, but not allowed to define your entire being. This does not make you careless. It makes you steadier. The strongest people at work are often not the ones who worship their jobs. They are the ones who know who they are outside the job. They can receive feedback without collapsing. They can work hard without begging the workplace to validate their existence. They can leave the office and still feel connected to life. That is strength. Not detachment from responsibility, detachment from false identity. You can care about your work without becoming consumed by it. You can pursue excellence without turning every outcome into a verdict on your worth. You can be ambitious without offering your soul as payment. Here is your practice. Write 5 sentences that begin with, I am someone who, but none of them can mention your job. I am someone who keeps going. I am someone who cares deeply. I am someone who learns from hard seasons. I am someone who protects the people I love. I am someone who can rebuild. Keep these sentences somewhere you can see them. Because when work drains your soul, one of the first things it drains is memory. Memory of who you are. Memory of what you love. Memory of what you wanted before the routine got loud. Memory of the person underneath the role. And rebuilding your drive requires returning to that person. Not abandoning ambition. Not rejecting responsibility, but remembering that your value was never created by your employer. It was there before the job. It will remain after the job. And it must be protected during the job. If your job disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would still remain? That is the part we are rebuilding from. Your job is what you do. It is not all of who you are. And once you remember who you are, you must protect the hours after work where that person has a chance to breathe again. Chapter 5. Recover after work instead of numbing yourself after work. Many people do not recover. They disappear. They collapse onto the couch. They scroll for an hour without remembering what they saw. They order food because cooking feels impossible. They turn on a show, then another, then another. They tell themselves they are resting, but when it is time to sleep, they do not feel restored. They feel delayed. The stress is still there, the body is still tense, the mind is still noisy, the soul still feels untouched. This is one of the most important distinctions in rebuilding your drive. Numbing is not the same as recovery. Numbing helps you stop feeling for a moment. Recovery helps you become whole again. Both can look similar from the outside. You may be lying down, you may be quiet, you may be away from work, but internally the difference is huge. Numbing says, I cannot deal with my life, so I need to escape it. Recovery says, I have carried enough today and now I am returning to myself. There is no shame in wanting escape. When you are exhausted, escape makes sense. Your brain wants relief. It wants distance from pressure. It wants easy pleasure because the day demanded too much. But if escape becomes your only form of rest, your life outside work begins to shrink. You finish work, numb yourself, sleep, wake up. Repeat. That is not a life. That is a recovery system that has broken down. So ask yourself honestly, after work, do you recover or do you numb yourself? This question may sting. Let it. Sometimes a painful question is not there to shame you. It is there to wake you. Recovery after work needs intention because the transition from work mode to personal life does not happen automatically. If you spend all day in performance, urgency, and mental noise, your body may still carry that state into the evening. You need a closing ritual, a way to tell your nervous system, the workday is done. Not just technically done, emotionally done. Start with something simple. When the workday ends, take 5 minutes to close the loop. Write down what you completed. Write down what remains for tomorrow. Then write one sentence. Work is done for today. I am allowed to return to my life. This sounds small, but it matters. Without closure, unfinished work keeps floating in your mind. Your body is home, but your attention is still at the desk. Then choose one real recovery action. Not 10. 1. A walk without headphones. A shower where you are not planning tomorrow. A meal without a screen. 10 minutes of stretching. A conversation with someone you love where you actually listen. A notebook page where you release the day. A quiet drive without filling the silence. A workout that helps stress leave the body. Recovery has different forms because exhaustion has different layers. Physical recovery is for the body that has been tense all day. Mental recovery is for the brain that has been overloaded with decisions. Emotional recovery is for the feelings you had to hide professionally. Identity recovery is for the part of you that needs to remember life is bigger than work. Most people only use passive rest. Passive rest can help, but it is not always enough. Sometimes you need active recovery, not intense productivity, not another performance, just an action that returns energy instead of stealing more. Scrolling rarely does that. It may distract you, but it often leaves your mind more fragmented. You consume other people's lives while feeling disconnected from your own. You enter for 5 minutes and exit 40 minutes later with less peace, less focus, and more comparison. Again, no shame, just awareness. Ask, does this restore me or does it sedate me? That one question can change your evenings, because your evening is not just leftover time. Your evening is where you rebuild the person work did not get to keep. If work gets your best energy and your personal life gets only your exhaustion, resentment will grow. Not all at once, quietly, you will begin to feel like your life belongs to everyone except you. That is why after-work recovery is not optional. It is how you protect your humanity. Tonight, try this. For the first 30 minutes after work, do not open social media. Give yourself a transition. Move, breathe, wash the day off. Put on different clothes, step outside, make tea, sit in silence. Let your brain arrive home. Then ask, what would actually restore me tonight? Not what is easiest, what restores me. If your answer is sleep, sleep. If your answer is movement, move. If your answer is connection, call someone. If your answer is solitude, honor it. If your answer is creativity, make something small. If your answer is order, clean one corner. If your answer is emotional release, write what you cannot say out loud. If you do this, you can write, I recovered instead of escaped. Because that is a powerful sentence. It means you are no longer letting work drain you and then letting your evening disappear into unconscious coping. You are participating in your restoration. This is where drive begins to return. Not through hype, through energy. A drained person does not need more pressure first. A drained person needs fuel, real fuel, human fuel. The kind that comes from sleep, movement, quiet, meaning, connection, and self-respect. Your workday may be demanding, but your evening does not have to become a graveyard for the person you used to be. Escaping work is not the same as recovering from it. Choose recovery. Your future self is waiting there. And once you begin recovering, you can stop seeing your current job as a prison and start using this season as training. Chapter 6. Turn this job into training. Not a prison. Sometimes the job you are in is not the job you want forever. You know it. You feel it. You may not hate everything about it, but you know it is not the final version of your life. Maybe it pays the bills, but it does not light you up. Maybe it gives you stability, but not purpose. Maybe it is teaching you things, but also draining you in ways you cannot ignore. When this happens, the mind often turns the job into a prison. You start thinking, I am stuck here, I am wasting my life. Nothing is changing. This is not where I am supposed to be. Those thoughts may contain some truth, but if you repeat them every day without action, they will weaken you. They will make you passive inside the very season that could be preparing you. So here is a reframe. If this job is not your destination, make it your training ground, not your identity, not your whole life. Training. This shift is powerful because it gives meaning to a difficult season without pretending the season is easy. You may not love the job, but you can still use it. Use it to build patience. Use it to build communication. Use it to build emotional control. Use it to build financial stability. Use it to build discipline. Use it to understand what kind of work you do not want forever. Use it to sharpen skills that will serve you later. A prison mindset says, this place is taking my life. A training mindset says, this place is revealing what I need to strengthen. Those are different lives, same office, different posture. When you see work as a prison, every difficulty becomes proof that you are trapped. A difficult coworker becomes a punishment. A boring task becomes humiliation. A long meeting becomes evidence that your life is being wasted. But when you see the season as training, difficulty becomes material. The difficult coworker trains your emotional boundaries. The boring task trains your ability to execute without needing constant excitement. The long meeting trains your patience and observation. The unclear instruction trains your communication. The pressure trains your ability to stay calm when conditions are not ideal. This does not mean you accept everything forever. Training is not surrender. Training is preparation. You may still plan to leave. You may still build a new skill. You may still apply for better roles. You may still create an exit strategy. But while you are here, you do not give the season permission to make you smaller. That is the key. Do not let a temporary chapter shrink your permanent identity. Ask yourself, what is this job forcing me to build? Maybe it is patience. Maybe it is courage. Maybe it is the ability to speak clearly. Maybe it is the discipline to manage money. Maybe it is resilience under pressure. Maybe it is proof that you need to change direction. Maybe it is showing you the cost of ignoring your calling. Comment one skill your current job is forcing you to build. Not because you love the pressure, because you are refusing to waste the lesson. This is how you take power back. You stop asking only, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what can this build in me? Be careful here. This is not toxic positivity. Some workplaces are unhealthy. Some managers are destructive. Some environments should be left when you have the ability to leave. This chapter is not asking you to romanticize mistreatment. It is asking you not to let a hard environment steal your agency while you are still in it. There is a difference between saying this is fine and saying until I move, I will grow. One is denial, the other is strength. So build a training plan for this season. Choose 3 things this job will help you develop. For example, this job will train my communication. This job will train my ability to stay calm under pressure. This job will train my financial discipline while I prepare my next move. Now your workday has a second layer. On the surface, you are completing tasks. Underneath, you are building yourself. That hidden layer changes everything. A meeting is no longer just a meeting. It becomes a place to practice concise speech. A stressful email is no longer just irritation. It becomes a place to practice response instead of reaction. A long project is no longer just pressure. It becomes a place to practice endurance. A boring day is no longer meaningless. It becomes a place to practice consistency without applause. This is how strong people survive seasons they do not want to stay in. They extract training from them. They do not wait for ideal conditions to become disciplined. They become disciplined inside imperfect conditions. That is why years later, some people look back at difficult jobs and realize those jobs built parts of them they still use. Not because the job was perfect, because they chose to become more conscious inside it. You can do that too. You can say, "This is not my whole future, but it is part of my formation." That sentence gives you room to breathe. It means you are not trapped in identity. You are moving through training. And if the job truly is a bridge, then walk the bridge with awareness. Learn what you need. Save what you can. Build what matters. Prepare your next chapter. But do not spend the whole bridge staring at the floor, telling yourself you are stuck. You are not just surviving a job. You are becoming someone who can handle the next level of life. When the job has no meaning, give the season a meaning. Turn the prison into training. Then keep moving. And the next skill you must train is one of the most valuable skills in modern work, protecting your mind from the noise that keeps trying to own it. Chapter 7. Protect your mind from the noise that weakens you. One of the most exhausting parts of office work is not always the difficulty of the work itself. It is the noise around it, the interruptions, the messages, the meetings, the shifting priorities, the open tabs, the quick questions, the urgent requests that are not actually urgent, the pressure to be constantly available, the silent expectation that if someone sends something, you should respond almost immediately. This does more than destroy focus. It teaches your mind that it is not yours. That is the deeper problem. A distracted workday is not just a productivity issue. It is an ownership issue. When every notification gets immediate access to your attention, your mind becomes public property. When every message can pull you away, your priorities become negotiable. When every meeting, request, and interruption controls your rhythm, you lose the feeling that you are directing your own life. And when you lose that feeling long enough, your drive weakens. Because drive needs agency. Drive needs the sense that your effort is going somewhere. Drive needs the feeling that your mind can choose a direction and stay with it long enough to create progress. Without that, you may be busy all day and still feel empty at night. You answer messages. You attend meetings, you switch tasks, you solve small problems, you keep up appearances. And then the day ends and you wonder, what did I actually build? That question is painful because humans need completion. We need to feel movement. We need to see that our energy became something. Fragmented work steals that feeling. It keeps you active but not grounded, busy but not proud, available but not effective. So if you want your drive back, you must protect your mind. Not just your schedule, your mind. Most people treat focus like a mood. They wait to feel focused. But focus is not something you wait for. Focus is something you protect. It is a room. It needs walls. It needs a door. And not everything should be allowed inside. Your attention is not free. It is the substance your life is built from. What gets your attention gets your future. So ask yourself, what steals your mind the most at work? Meetings, messages, coworkers, multitasking, your phone, your own overthinking? If distractions have been stealing your day, write this phrase somewhere. Protect the mind. Not just protect the focus. Protect the mind, because your mind is where your future is planned. Your mind is where your standards are built. Your mind is where your confidence is repaired. Your mind is where you decide who you are becoming. If work noise owns your mind all day, you will have very little inner space left to build a life. Start with one protected block, 45 minutes. One task, no phone, no extra tabs, no checking messages unless your job truly requires immediate response. No pretending that switching between 5 things is strength. Choose one meaningful task and give it your full attention. At first, this may feel uncomfortable, not because you are bad at focus, because your brain has been trained to expect interruption. Silence may feel strange. Single tasking may feel slow. You may feel the urge to check something just to relieve the discomfort of depth. Stay. Depth returns when you stop leaving. If 45 minutes feels impossible, start with 25. But make it protected. Put it on your calendar if you can. Tell people, when appropriate, I am focused on this until 10:30. I will respond after. You are not being rude. You are being responsible with your attention. Then create message windows. Instead of letting email and chat platforms drip into every moment, choose specific times to check them. Maybe once in the morning, once before lunch, once mid-afternoon. This depends on your role, of course. Some jobs require faster communication. But many people check constantly not because the job requires it, but because anxiety does. They are not responding. They are relieving tension. Notice the difference. Every time you check, ask, was this necessary, or was I escaping the discomfort of focused work? That question will teach you a lot. Also, reduce visual noise. Your digital workspace matters. Too many tabs create mental weight. A cluttered desktop creates low-grade stress. A messy task list creates confusion. Your brain is always reading the environment. If the environment says chaos, the mind prepares for chaos. Before starting your focus block, clear the field. Close what is not needed. Write the one task. Define the finish line. Not work on report. Say, draft the first 3 sections. Not catch up. Say, reply to the 5 priority emails. Not plan project. Say, create the first version of the timeline. A clear finish line gives your brain a target, and targets create momentum. But focus is not only about tasks. It is also about emotional boundaries. Sometimes the noise is not digital. Sometimes the noise is the tone of a coworker, the mood of a manager, the tension in a meeting, the fear of being judged, the overthinking that begins after one short message. That noise can be even more draining than notifications, so protect your mind there too. When someone sends a cold message, do not immediately turn it into a story about your worth. When a meeting feels tense, do not carry the whole room inside your chest for the rest of the day. When someone is careless with their words, do not let their lack of self-control become your inner weather. Pause, name the event, separate it from your identity. This was a difficult message, not, I am failing. This meeting was tense, not, my whole day is ruined. This person is under pressure, not, I need to absorb their energy. That is mental ownership. You stop letting every outside signal become an inside command. Try one protected block tomorrow. One task. One clear finish line. One window where your mind belongs to you. If you complete it right, 45 minutes protected. Small evidence matters. It tells your mind, I am not powerless here. And that is where motivation begins to breathe again. Your mind is not public property. Guard it. Because once you can protect your mind, you can begin rebuilding the confidence that exhaustion has been quietly taking from you. Chapter 8. Rebuild confidence through promises you can keep. When work drains you long enough, you do not only lose energy, you lose trust in yourself. This is one of the hidden costs of exhaustion. You say you will go to the gym after work, but you do not. You say you will read before bed, but you scroll instead. You say you will wake up earlier, but you hit snooze. You say you will update your resume, start the course, cook at home, call your friend, clean your room, save money, sleep earlier. But the day ends, and the promise remains broken. After a while, your mind stops believing you. That is what low confidence often is. Not a lack of talent, a lack of self-trust. Confidence is built when your actions teach your mind, I do what I say. It is weakened when your actions repeatedly teach your mind, my words do not mean much. This is not about perfection. Everyone breaks promises sometimes. Life happens. Energy changes. Unexpected things appear. But when you break promises to yourself too often, especially during draining seasons, something inside you begins to sink. You stop setting goals because goals remind you of failure. You stop dreaming because dreaming creates pressure. You stop trying because trying and quitting hurts more than never starting. So instead of rebuilding confidence with massive goals, rebuild it with small promises you can actually keep. Not impressive promises, kept promises. There is a difference. A drained person does not need a giant transformation plan first. A drained person needs evidence. Evidence that they can still choose. Evidence that they can still act. Evidence that they can still finish. Evidence that their life is not completely controlled by exhaustion. So choose promises that are almost too small to fail. Walk for 10 minutes. Read 2 pages. Drink water before coffee. Put your phone away for the first 20 minutes of the morning. Prepare clothes for tomorrow. Write 3 sentences in a journal. Stretch for 5 minutes after work. Clean 1 surface. Send 1 message you have been avoiding. Sleep 15 minutes earlier. These may sound small, good. Small is where trust returns. You are not trying to impress your ego. You are trying to retrain your nervous system. You are teaching yourself that action is still possible. You are building a record of follow-through. Write one small promise you can keep today. Not a huge goal, not a fantasy version of your life. One small promise, and make it specific. Not I will be healthier. Say I will walk for 10 minutes after dinner. Not I will be more productive. Say I will finish one task before checking messages. Not I will get my life together. Say I will prepare tomorrow's lunch tonight. Specific promises create clear wins. Clear wins create self-trust. Self-trust creates confidence. Confidence creates drive. This is the chain. Many people try to start at drive. They wait to feel motivated and then they hope action will follow. But often, action comes first. A small completed action sends a signal. I am not stuck. That signal creates a little energy. That energy makes the next action easier. Momentum is not magic. It is accumulated proof. One promise kept, then another, and soon your identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who always quits. You start seeing yourself as someone who returns. Someone who may move slowly but still moves. Someone who does not need ideal conditions to keep one promise. Someone who can rebuild. This matters deeply for office workers because work can make your personal goals feel unreachable. You spend your best mental energy at work, then expect your exhausted evening self to build an entirely new life. That may be too much at first, so lower the size. Keep the standard. The standard is not intensity. The standard is consistency. If you promised 10 minutes, do 10. If you promised 2 pages, read 2. If you promised 1 email, send 1. Do not turn every small action into a bigger test. Do not say, since I walked 10 minutes, I should walk an hour tomorrow. That is how people turn recovery into pressure. Let small be small. Let kept be enough. And when you finish, pause long enough to register it. Say, I kept that promise. This part is important. If you rush past the win, your brain does not absorb the evidence. You need to let the completion land, not with arrogance, with recognition. I said I would do this. I did it. That is how confidence comes back. Not all at once, but honestly. Ask yourself, what promise to yourself have you broken too many times? Now ask, what is the smaller version I can actually keep this week? If the broken promise is get in shape, the smaller version may be walk 10 minutes after work 3 times. If the broken promise is change careers, the smaller version may be spend 20 minutes researching one path. If the broken promise is sleep better, the smaller version may be put my phone across the room at 10:30. If the broken promise is save money, the smaller version may be review spending for 10 minutes on Sunday. Shrink the promise until it becomes actionable, then keep it. This is not lowering your ambition. It is rebuilding the foundation ambition stands on. Because big dreams require a self you trust, and self-trust is earned in small private moments. Confidence returns when you start keeping promises to yourself again. And once you start trusting yourself now again, you are ready for the next step, building a life outside work that gives your soul room to expand. Chapter 9. Create a life that work cannot steal. A hard job becomes heavier when it is the only major thing in your life. If work is the only place where you spend energy, the only place where you interact with people, the only place where you feel challenged, the only place that gives structure to your day, then work becomes too powerful. It becomes the center. And when work becomes the center, every problem at work feels like a problem with your whole life. This is why you need a life outside the office, not as an accessory, as protection. A full life makes a hard job easier to survive. When you have something meaningful outside work, the office loses some of its emotional control over you. A stressful meeting is still stressful, but it is not your entire world. A difficult week is still difficult, but it is not the only thing happening in your life. A disappointing day does not erase your identity because you have other places where you feel alive. This is not about being busy every evening. It is about being connected to life beyond performance. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something that made you feel like a person, not just an employee? That question matters, because many people do not realize how much of themselves they have abandoned until they try to remember the last time they felt fully alive outside work. Maybe it was playing music. Maybe it was being outdoors. Maybe it was lifting weights. Maybe it was a long dinner with friends. Maybe it was reading something that had nothing to do with career growth. Maybe it was making art. Maybe it was volunteering. Maybe it was prayer. Maybe it was a quiet morning with no rush. Maybe it was laughing without checking the time. Whatever it was, do not dismiss it. That is not extra. That is part of your soul asking to be included again. Work drains you more when life outside work is empty, because then there is nowhere for energy to return. You go from office stress to home numbness, from deadlines to screens, from professional performance to private collapse. Days pass, and your personal life becomes a waiting room for the next workday. You were not made to live like that. You need something that belongs to you. Something not measured by a manager. Something not tracked by productivity software. Something not reduced to income. Something that reminds you that you are alive, not just useful. So choose one thing to bring back. Fitness, reading, family, faith, creativity, friendship, cooking, music, learning, nature, a personal project, a class, a walk, a weekly phone call, a hobby you dropped because you were too tired. Comment one thing you want to bring back into your life outside work. Make it real. Because what you do outside work changes how work feels inside you. If your whole life is work, then work has too much leverage. But if your life is wider, work becomes one part of a larger identity. You may still care about your job. You may still work hard. But your soul has other rooms to breathe in. Start small. Do not build a fantasy schedule you cannot sustain. Do not try to become a completely different person in 1 week. Choose one recurring activity and protect it like an appointment. Tuesday evening walk, Saturday morning gym, Thursday dinner with a friend, Sunday reading hour, Wednesday night class, 10 minutes of guitar after work, 1 creative hour on the weekend. It does not need to be dramatic, it needs to be alive. And it needs to be scheduled because unscheduled personal life often loses to work fatigue. If you simply say, I will do it when I have energy, the day will decide for you, the couch will decide, the phone will decide, the exhaustion will decide. Put it somewhere real, on the calendar, in the environment. With another person if needed, make your life visible to yourself again. This also helps with resentment. Many office workers resent their jobs, not only because the job is demanding, but because they have no protected life outside it. The job becomes the thief of everything, but sometimes work is not stealing everything directly. Sometimes the lack of personal boundaries gives it permission. Take the permission back. Your employer may own certain hours of your day. It does not own your entire imagination. It does not own your body. It does not own your friendships. It does not own your health. It does not own your future. It does not own the quiet parts of you that still want beauty, joy, growth, and connection. Build a life work cannot steal, not by waiting for more free time, by protecting small pieces of life now. 1 walk, 1 meal, 1 conversation, 1 page, 1 class, 1 hour, 1 thing that reminds you I am more than what I produce. A full life does not remove every difficulty from work, but it gives you somewhere to stand, and when you have somewhere to stand, you are harder to break. Create a life that work cannot steal, then return to work from a stronger place. And now, after all of this, we come to the final step. Becoming someone work can challenge, but no longer define, drain, or destroy. Chapter 10. Become someone work can no longer break. The goal is not just to feel better for 1 evening. The goal is to become harder to drain. Not emotionless, not cold, not detached from responsibility. Harder to drain because you are rooted. Harder to drain because you have standards. Harder to drain because you know what belongs to work and what belongs to you. Harder to drain because you no longer hand your whole identity to a job title, a manager, a calendar, an inbox, or a stressful season. This is where the rebuilding becomes a new standard. A standard is different from a mood. A mood changes with the day. A standard stays. A mood says, I will protect my energy when I feel strong. A standard says, I protect my energy because my life requires it. A mood says, I will recover after work when the day is not too hard. A standard says, the harder the day, the more intentionally I recover. A mood says, I will stop calling myself lazy when I feel confident. A standard says, I do not insult myself when I am depleted. I rebuild. This is what you are creating now. New standards, not as decoration, as protection. Write this sentence. From today I no longer. Then finish it. From today, I no longer let work own my mornings. From today, I no longer call exhaustion laziness. From today, I no longer abandon myself after work. From today, I no longer confuse my job title with my identity. From today, I no longer let office noise own my mind. From today, I no longer give my best self to work and leave nothing for my life. From today, I no longer break promises to myself and act like it does not matter. From today, I no longer live only to recover from the day. If you want to comment one thing from this audiobook, comment that sentence. From today, I no longer, and complete it for your own life. That is not just engagement, that is a declaration. Because at some point, rebuilding requires a line, a quiet line, a personal line. A line that says, this season may be hard, but it does not get to take everything. Many people wait for their workplace to change before they change their relationship with work. Sometimes the workplace does need to change. Sometimes you need a new team, a new role, a new company, a new career, or a new environment. But even before the outer change, there must be an inner one. Because if you do not change the pattern inside you, the next job can inherit the same self-abandonment. You might leave one draining environment and still carry the habit of overgiving, overchecking, over-identifying, over-apologizing, overworking, and under-recovering. That is why this chapter is not just about surviving your current job. It is about becoming someone who does not disappear inside any job. Someone who can work hard without losing themselves. Someone who can receive pressure without becoming pressure. Someone who can be responsible without being consumed. Someone who can rest without guilt. Someone who can build a future while handling the present. Someone who knows when to stay, when to grow, when to speak, when to recover, and when to move on. That person is built through standards. So create your work-life standards for the next 30 days. Here are 5 to begin with. First, I begin the day as a person before I become an employee. Second, I tell the truth about my energy instead of shaming myself. Third, I protect at least one block of focused attention each workday. Fourth, I recover after work in a way that restores me, not only distracts me. Fifth, I keep one small promise to myself every day. These standards are simple, but simple does not mean weak. Simple is often what saves you, because when life is noisy, complicated systems collapse. You need standards clear enough to remember when you are tired. Now ask yourself one final question. Who would you become if work could no longer break your mind, drain your energy, or define your worth? Really ask it. Who would you become? Maybe you would become calmer, maybe stronger, maybe more disciplined, maybe more creative, maybe more honest. Maybe you would finally make the career move you have been delaying. Maybe you would stop living only for Friday. Maybe you would become present again with the people you love. Maybe you would recover the version of yourself that used to believe in possibility. That version is not gone, but it will not return by accident. It returns through standards, through boundaries, through small promises, through recovery, through remembering, through choosing. Work may still be demanding. Some weeks will still be hard. You will still have days when you feel tired. The goal is not to become untouchable. The goal is to stop being completely available to every force that drains you. You can be tired and still not abandon yourself. You can be pressured and still stay rooted. You can be in a difficult season and still build a stronger identity. That is the new standard. So say it clearly. I no longer hand my soul to my schedule. I no longer let one hard meeting define my worth. I no longer confuse being busy with being alive. I no longer treat my personal life like leftover time. I no longer wait for permission to rebuild myself. I no longer disappear just because work is demanding. I no longer survive the week and call it living. This is your line. This is your return. This is where the drained version of you begins to become the rebuilt version of you. Do not just survive this season. Let it build you. Become someone work can no longer break. Take back the part of you that work could not destroy. If you have listened this far, take a moment before rushing back into the noise. Notice what has shifted. Maybe you do not feel completely different. That is okay. Real rebuilding does not always feel dramatic at first. Sometimes it feels like one honest sentence, one deep breath, one small decision. One part of you quietly saying, I do not want to keep living this way. That is enough to begin. You do not need to fix your whole life tonight. You do not need to make a perfect plan. You do not need to force yourself into sudden motivation. You only need to take back one thing: your morning, your energy, your focus, your confidence, your life outside work, your sense of identity, your right to recover, your ability to keep one promise to yourself. So ask yourself, what is the first thing you are going to take back? Write it down, say it out loud, or leave it in the comments so it becomes real. Maybe you write, I am taking back my mornings. Maybe I am taking back my energy. Maybe I am taking back my evenings. Maybe I am taking back my confidence. Maybe I am taking back my life outside work. Choose one, not everything. One. Then act on it within the next 24 hours. A 10-minute walk, a 20-minute phone-free morning, a real recovery ritual after work, a small promise kept. A sentence that reminds you who you are without your job title. This is how rebuilding begins, quietly, practically, honestly. And if this audiobook helped you see yourself differently, subscribe to Inner Power Audio. Not for more noise, but for reminders that bring you back to yourself. Like this video if it gave you language for something you have been feeling, and share it with someone who may look fine on the outside but feels exhausted inside. Sometimes people do not need advice first. They need to feel understood. They need to hear that they are not lazy, not broken, not behind as much as they are depleted and ready to rebuild. Work may drain you, but it does not get to define you. It may take your time, but it does not get to take your soul. It may challenge your energy, but it does not get to erase your identity. You are still here, and that means you can rebuild. Start small. Start today. Take back one part of yourself, then another, until your life no longer feels like something work consumes, but something you consciously protect. Work may drain you, but it does not get to define you. Start rebuilding today.